Nataki Oyasin. That's a Native American Lakota Sioux greeting, which means we are all related. And it doesn't just mean we as humans, but all ancestors, plant life, animal life, even insect life, and the very stardust from which our bodies were formed. This is an original song. Aho means your prayers are my prayers and my prayers are your prayers. So just relax and let your hearts come in sync with the heartbeat drum. Your prayers are my prayers. My prayers are yours. We pray together as we heal this world as one. Your prayers are my prayers. My prayers are yours. We pray together as we heal the world as one. As we heal the world as one.
We are here today, and we're so glad to have you with us, even though we're virtual. It's our first virtual service, so we appreciate you watching us today. Greg Wilkins, Pamela and Greg, thank you. I am Reverend Susan Gow. So I want to start today by reading something from a book called Canoeing the Mountains. And in this book, it's really about how church has changed, but it's something very important for what's going on in our world today. So we remember the story of Meriwether, Lewis and Clark and their expeditions. And in here it says that Dayton Duncan and Ken Burns describe a defining moment in Meriwether Lewis's life. He was approaching the furthest boundary of the Louisiana Territory, the Continental Divide, the spine of the Rocky Mountains beyond which the rivers flow west. No American citizen had ever been there before. Thus, he believed, was the Northwest Passage, the goal of the explorers for more than 3 centuries, the great prize that Thomas Jefferson had sent him to find and to claim for the United States. With each passing stride, Lewis was nearing what he expected to be the crowning moment of his expedition and his life. From the vantage point just ahead, all of science and geography had prepared him to see the watershed of the Columbia, and beyond it, perhaps, a great plain that led directly to the Pacific. Instead, there were just more mountains. Immense ranges of high mountains, still to the west of us, he said, with their tops partially covered with snow. At that moment in the daunting vista spread out at the feet of Meriwether Lewis. The dream of an easy water route across the continent, a dream stretching back to Christopher Columbus, was shattered. According to a historian, that moment atop the Lehigh Pass was when the geography of hope gave way to the geography of reality. A disappointing reality it must have been. When a mental model dies, a painful paradigm shift takes place within us. It is disorienting and anxiety-making. It is as if the world we know ceases to exist. In fact, it is a world rearranging moment. My friends, we are in a world rearranging moment right now with the coronavirus. This is our time to look at things, how they're shifting quickly, swiftly, hourly sometimes. And so I want you to look at this map. This map up here shows us all the red dots of where the virus is at. And for some of you, it might be very scary and you might be very anxious. But I also want you to think about this in a very different way. I want you to shift your perspective just in a moment. You see, this is a whole map of our Earth planet. And I ask you just a moment, close your eyes, and now open them. And begin to see the shift, not of the little red dots, but of the grandness of our Earth planet, our home. And we know indeed that we are one Earth, that we are one people, and that we are one with all of life. And that includes the life of this tiny little microorganism named corona. Now, we know that our life has been disrupted. We don't gather like we have, as here we are, talking to you virtually. I can't see your eyes. I can't feel your emotions in this moment. But I know that we can still connect heart to heart. Because that's what we do. And even though we have been shifted and moved into a new experience, we can still come together and be together and think about things in a whole new way. So I invite you today to move into this new perspective of what the world looks like around us. The corona is not something to be afraid of. You see, viruses have been around for millions and millions of years. There's all kinds of little microorganisms that live in our earth and on our body. So why has this become such a world pandemic? Well, it's become a world pandemic because, first of all, it's new, and we have not yet gained our immunity from it. Secondly, it's moving quickly and speedily, and so we need to find a way to stop it. And we really don't know that much about how fast it moves or what form it moves from, how it spreads from person to person. So that puts us into this realm of fear and panic. Well, we don't want to be in that realm. We want to be in a realm right now of acceptance, of beingness, of knowing the truth of who we each are as divine beings. And so I've been meditating on this. I've been meditating, in fact, on the actual life form, this little virus. And in my meditations, I have been honoring it and forgiving it. Now that might sound strange, but I have been honoring it and forgiving it. And what does that mean? And why am I doing that? Well, I'm doing that because this little microorganism is truly a life. It relies on a host. That host happens to be the human body, us. And it has no consciousness. It just needs to reproduce. And how it reproduces is to move from host to host to host. And when it is out of host, then it will die. And that is what we're trying to do. We have come into a whole new world of new terminology, haven't we? All of a sudden we're talking about social distancing, which means that we can only be 3 and 6 feet apart from one another. We talk about self-quarantine, staying in our houses for 14 days, not going anywhere. We talk about flattening the bell curve. And we look at all these things. Even think about the name Corona. It used to be a beer. And now we see it as a very different thing. The town cry is wash your hands. Stay home if you're sick. But you know what it's made us realize? It's made us realize how much we interact with each other, how we engage with one another, and how much we as humans need to be in contact with other humans. And when we think about that, that is significant. It's significant because that is what is disrupting us today. All the events being canceled, all the things being changed in our environment. I mean, just last week, we were here together, hugging each other. We were here together, celebrating. Everything, schools, universities, sports events have been disrupted. But still I say, do not fall into fear. Because fear is one of the most destructive things for our immune system. It causes us anxiety. It causes our brain to freeze so that we can't think clearly. It causes us to panic. And that's what we're seeing around us. It's this crazy world of panic. Instead of really wrapping our hands around the truth that we know, the truth that we teach in unity, and that is that awareness of God being present in all of life, in all form, in all people. My friends, you and I have this amazing opportunity in front of us right now today. And that amazing opportunity is something that we're beginning to see. It's a shift in collective awareness. The collective awareness of how interconnected we really are in this world. You see, the virus itself it does not discriminate. It cares not about religion. It cares not about color. It cares not about politics. It doesn't care about any of our differences. All it cares about is the heat of a human being. And the opportunity that we have is to remember that this body of ours goes beyond our form and what we look like. And that in our interconnectedness, our globe has no true boundaries. When we look at the picture of the earth, we see this amazing round circle. Here we are, plucked into the middle of a universe. And we are grateful to have this amazing, beautiful planet. And so let us rejoice in that, and that we can begin to come together and end our divisiveness, end our idea of separation, end our idea that there are differences between us. We can begin to think as the virus acts. We can begin to eliminate those boundaries. We can begin to see with our eyes the divinity in each and every person. We can begin to know that we are always connected. Of all things, I think that is the most important thing for us to realize right now. This awareness of our interconnectedness. And my prayer and my hope is that when we get through this, which we will, that we will not fall back into forgetting, that we will remember this lesson that we have just been given to us, and that we can continue to come together. It's really interesting because on my next door neighborhood group, I've seen a big shift in how people are posting. So they're usually complaining about something. Somebody's speeding down the street or somebody not picking up their dog poo. There's always this complaining going on. But in these last few weeks, especially the last few days, I've seen a whole shift in what is being posted. And what's being posted is saying, hey, if you're in quarantine or if you're a vulnerable person, I'll go get you groceries. Or I'll go pick up your prescriptions. This is the shift. Why it takes us something like this to come back together again, I don't know, but it does at times. For us to be reminded of who we are, of the goodness that is in every single individual. Our Lenten series has been about abundant living. Do you see abundant life in this dis-ease that we're going through? You see, abundant life has many facets to it, which we have been exploring. And one of the facets is about the opportunity for us to grow and to expand. We have this chance right now to grow and to expand in our awareness. Charles Fillmore, in his book, Atom Smashing Power of the Mind, reminds us that when man gets understanding of the right relations between the visible and the invisible into his mind and active in his thought, all of his needs will be met. Do you know all your needs are being met right in this moment? That's really the truth. We are expanding. We are growing. And from this, I know we will become better. And after all, that's what we want to always do. So my advice is to be calm and confident. My advice is to not get caught up in the fear and the panic. In fact, my advice would be to turn off the television and really take this time to explore something within yourself. Read an inspirational book. Listen to beautiful music. Participate in life by calling people you haven't seen in a long time. Get off of Facebook for just a little bit. Just check in once in a while. But allow yourselves that space to grow and expand and pray and meditate and dance with the Spirit. Because this is a time for us to really reinforce everything that we know, to stand in the truth of who we are. How we treat each other right now matters. It matters greatly. We are all people of the earth. How are you thinking about this? I invite you to shift your perception. Think about 9/11. 9/11 was a world rearranging moment. We changed our habits. especially the way that we fly. We adapted. Think about mass shootings. They are world rearranging moments that have also changed our habits. So in this world rearranging moment, how will you change your habits, your thinking, your perspective? Don't think about the red dots on the map. Think about the limitlessness of the boundaries, of not having boundaries on this planet, of the oneness that we are. You see, we are adaptable beings. And in the book, Canoeing the Mountains, there's a definition of adaptive capacity, which we have. And adaptive capacity is the resilience of people and the capacity of systems to engage in problem-defining and problem-solving work in the midst of adaptive pressures and the resulting disequilibrium. You see, when our life is disrupted, we really don't like it. We like things just to keep going on the way that they are. But sometimes it is really good for us to stand back and take a larger look from the eyes, perhaps, of divine intelligence. And to ask ourselves, how can I help? What can I do that matters? How can I be socially responsible in this time? I know what I believe, so how can I share that with others? That's really what this is about. So there's just a couple of things. Be calm. Be calm. Find your center. Breathe. It is okay. We'll get through this. I know that we have some of the smartest and most intelligent scientists out there working on this day and night. Engage others in the learning and the transformation necessary to be able to deal with today, this moment. And pray and meditate. Honor Corona. Forgive Corona. Because when we do that, we release the angst inside of us and we become that calm, peace, presence of God. You are in this moment the calm, peace, presence of the divine. There was something on Facebook that I'd like to close with. I saw this on Friday, and I think it's really fitting. It was written by a woman named Lynn Unger on 3/11, and she wrote this about the virus. She said, "What if you thought of it as the Jews consider the Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling. Give up just for now on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down, and when your body has become still, reach out your heart, knowing that we are connected in ways that are both terrifying and beautiful. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Do not reach out your hands, reach out your heart. Reach out your words, reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love for better or worse, in sickness and health, so long as you shall live." Let us pray. So I invite you to just stop for a moment and close your outer eyes. And breathe. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your heart space. In through your nose and out through your heart space. And we pause and we move into this time of divine presence. In the stillness of our being, we acknowledge our oneness and connectedness with all people. In our stillness, in the quiet of our heart, let us share compassion and love. Let us move into seeing our whole globe without boundaries, knowing the truth of this. And let us spread healing, compassionate love all the way around our globe. In our mind's eyes, we can touch and hold one another. We can love one another. We can begin to send out the vibration of love and healing and peace and calmness to each individual wherever they are. Let us pause for a moment in the silence and just be. Let us just be in that presence. Let us be in the healing. Let us be in the love that is everywhere in all of life. And let us know that the abundant life, that special and unique life force that moves within all of life on this planet, is filled with that divine DNA. And so, there are abundant possibilities. There are abundant divine ideas. There is no reason to fear or be anxious. We stand in love and we are grateful for that love. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Amen. Amen. Typically at this time, we would share of our talents and talents together, but since we're virtual, what I'm going to ask is that you participate in your generous giving by going online to our website and hit the donate button and just follow the simple instructions, and you can give a one-time donation or a recurring gift as we work through this together. The other thing I want to remind you of is that here at Unity on the Avenue, we are collecting canned goods for the Park Hill Food Bank. And the food banks are crying out for that need right now. So if you have things that you want to donate, please bring them by the church and just leave them in the breezeway. That would be a beautiful thing for us. Also, I'm going to be teaching the Prosperity Plus class that we were going to have here online on Zoom. So stay tuned on our website. We'll have all the information about when we'll be coming back together and when the Prosperity Plus class will be starting. So thank you for this moment. Let us just hold our hands to our heart and know that whatever we have, whatever it is that we give of ourselves to the universe, it is pure and true. And so we say our offering, blessing that divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We know that it's heaped up, pressed down, and flowing over in your life right now. We are connected, even though right now we are experiencing individualism. And so, with that, let us do our closing song. Thank you.
I'm going to share a beautiful song that was written by Daniel Nemode. It's called One Power. It does such a wonderful job of describing all the ways that this one power manifests in our lives. One power, one power, one power, one power invisible, and you can see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, we can speak it with every word we say. Mysterious till you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baihuda, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's one power, can't you see? It's the power of love in you and me. One power, one power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, have different clothing, different colors, different names. The difference is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. It's Mohammed, it's your mind, it's your soul, it's your sun. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. It's the moment of creation, it's the everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness, it's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration, it's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations, it's the boundlessness of space. For His love that runs most deep. But whatever name you give it, it's one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, 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 one power. It's the power of love in you and me.
So thank you for listening today, and know that you're not alone. We are here for you. We are here for you all the time. So if you need to reach out, if you want some prayer, just call the church office and leave a message, and myself or our prayer chaplains will get back to you. God bless you. Know that you are safe and whole and well. And we love you. Thank you. Namaste.